We're back, and it's your boy Charles Gregory with the beautiful
Lauren Sizzle
and the beautiful
Classy Lady Sparkle.
And you already know this your boy Charles Gregory. We talk weeklies after the talk. Your host, your favorite fly guy, and we here to talk a little bit about some you already know. Classy Lady, you ready for me?
We got the good news and we got the bad news.
There you go.
Which one you want first?
Give me the good news.
All right, cool. Here's some good news.
Give it to me early.
That's what's up. A record-breaking number of women are in Biden's cabinet. So women are a minority, and many laws have passed for women to have equal rights. We have the Fair Labor Standards Act. We have the Equal Pay Act, the Pregnancy Discrimination Act, the Family Medical Leave Act, and we can't forget women being allowed to vote. The good news is, with Biden electing a record-breaking number of women in his cabinet, and we're still rising. The president-elect has chosen 11 people of color and has kept his promise that his cabinet will be the most racially diverse in history. So as of December 17th, President-elect Biden has chosen 10 women compared with 9 men. And this is the very first time in history that a cabinet in level positions has hired just as many women as men. This is so monumental because historically women were being unrepresented in the inner cabinet. Now, with the first woman vice president and woman of color, it highlights that women are more than qualified and capable of doing the same job as men. Is that good news for 2021? Tell me that ain't good news.
Yeah, that's
good. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. That's great news. You know. Absolutely.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's good news for 2021 and beyond, because I'm just thinking ahead and thinking about all the, young girls that are going to be, trying to follow in some of these women of color, some of these, women in general, some of their footsteps. And we're going to inevitably, which is a good thing, see a lot of change when it comes to politics. So I'm excited about that. I'm happy that, young girls have people, especially like, Kamala Harris and others, a lot of the other women to look up to. So,
yeah, I'm excited to see what Kamala does as being the first female vice president. It's an honor to be a first lady, and Michelle Obama definitely lived up to that title, and she did a lot of stuff that other first ladies didn't. But just to be vice president as a woman, I'm looking forward to see how Kamala does in that role.
Yeah, that's big. Do you know? Hold up. So it's his cabinet is all women?
No. But this is the first time in history that it has the same amount of men as women.
Wow.
It's very equal. Whereas usually it's more men. Yeah. So he kept his promise as having a diverse cabinet for gender as well as ethnicity.
Yeah, I have to do some more research on that. I never knew how many people was on a cabinet. I mean, I probably should have known that, but I literally didn't know how many people was on the cabinet. Shannon says, salute to President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Harris having so many women in the cabinet and breaking the status quo. Looking forward to this administration. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. And I also wanted to know what you guys thought about recently. I don't know if it was the White House, but they were getting backlash about comparing Melania Trump to Michelle Obama. What y'all think about that?
It's no comparison. Like, I actually tried to think about it real quick. It's no comparison. You can't, like, one was a first lady. Well, both of them technically were first ladies, but one was truly a first lady as it relates to being political, right? Doing policy, trying to create policy, doing things, incorporating her own, maintaining certain things that the first lady or now first person, because
first gentleman now
is, and so it's going to be interesting to see how that looks with men as kind of like the first man, so to speak, right? But yeah, but I'm interested to see how this turns out with Kamala Harris and Kamala Harris and what she does, with her position. I mean, she's very strong, talented, witty. Again, that wasn't my first choice, but I think she's a safe choice, and we'll see if she really advocate and do what I hopefully, would like her to do as it relates to people who look like her.
Yeah, well, we're gonna find out in 18 days.
And I'm also curious as to her as VP, what role will her husband now have in regards to being the second? They got the first lady, which is the Dr. Harris, or Biden's wife, Dr. Biden. But then you have the vice president and her husband, and he has a role that he must play as second gentleman to the vice president. So,
but you know what? I never even thinking about Joe Biden, his wife. I can't remember her doing anything while he was VP. Barack Obama's VP.
She did a few things in education. Okay. I don't know if it was really not so much monumental, but coverage. But she did do a few things in regards to her role.
No doubt. Okay.
And her and Michelle are good friends, so I think that's probably why as well. Why it stood out. Okay, so we have some bad news. This gentleman, Andre Hill, was fatally shot holding his cell phone. Andre Hill sat in a car on a chilly December 22nd and didn't know he wouldn't see Christmas. Hill, a 47-year-old Black man, was visiting a family friend in Columbus, Ohio, to drop off Christmas money. Hill was in his car in the family friend's garage when a white police officer, Adam Coy, arrived on the scene. Coy, who shot the unarmed Hill, was responding to a disturbance call that was made at approximately 1:30 a.m. The unknown caller said that there was a parked car that kept turning on and off. Officer Coy, who arrived on the scene, ordered Hill out of the garage. Hill emerged from the garage holding his cell phone in his left hand, which showed it was a lit screensaver, and his right hand was not visible. Coy shouted, "He has a gun," and fatally shot Hill. An unidentified woman comes out of the home and tells the police, "He was bringing me Christmas money. He didn't do anything." And we do have a clip of what happened.
Put your fucking hands out to the side. Hands out to the side now. Roll to your stomach now. Yeah. Hey, don't get fucking close. I can't see his fucking hand. Get your hand up from underneath you now. We got a medic coming. Don't move, dude. Fuck. Roll over, dude.
The officer you heard and saw, again, name is Coy, and his fellow officer, Amy Detweiler, who also arrived minutes after Hill was coming out of the garage. Both have been questioned as to why their body cameras were turned off and then turned back on. Although we had a lot of that footage, the cameras were off when the arriving officer came on the scene. as an unarmed Andre Hill, as you saw in the clip, lay dying on the cold cement was for over 5 minutes with no medical help from officers. Detweiler states in her investigation report that Hill was not non-threatening. Both officers, or Coy, actually, while you saw Hill on the ground, handcuffed Hill as he laid there dying. Police Chief Thomas Quinlan said that he was horrified by the event and has fired Officer Coy, and an open criminal investigation is being conducted. Benjamin Crump, as you all know from the Trayvon Martin and Breonna Taylor, is the attorney representing the Hill family. Relatives of Andre Hill on Thursday said the Ohio police treated their family member like he was an animal. You guys, what are your thoughts on this?
I think an animal would have gotten better treatment, to be honest.
I know an animal would have got a better treatment than this. I just want to preface that video, right? Because I did some, a little searching and just some research on it, and I found that what you guys seen was them turning on the video camera after they shot the gentleman. And it records, I believe, 60 seconds prior to something like that. It records when it's off. It records 60 seconds prior to you about the
it does a buffering before you cut it off, so it takes that 60 seconds no matter what prior to turning it off. Yeah.
So it was what you saw was when you didn't hear any audio, that was that buffer, that little space before they turned it on. Now I'm sick and tired. I just feel as if we are pretty much covering another victim who has been murdered by the police almost every other show, or at least once a month.
Right.
And it's heartbreaking. I mean, what can you say? We try our best to do our jobs, try our best to do as much research and give you as much of the facts that we can, but it's hard to take your own personal feelings out of it, especially when, again, that could have been me. He didn't do anything. Imagine if I'm just outside and it's dark and I have my phone in my hand and because it's dark and I have dark clothes on, it's easy not to see my hands.
And that's the thing about it. So when the officers told him to come out, they ordered him to come out the garage. They didn't order him, keep your hands up, come out with your hands behind your head. He came out and he probably had his cell phone. So he was showing them, this is all I'm holding. Yeah. And because he was holding the cell phone, they're stating that his other hand wasn't visible. And of course, the police officers, if they shout he has a gun, then bullets fly, but it's almost in a protection way of, oh, I thought that was a weapon.
This is so... I mean, you can pretty much call the event. You can pretty much call it as it's about to happen because you know the result. You know what's going to happen. You have a black man walking out. It's easy to say that I thought. This is what I thought as a police officer, right? This is what I thought was going to happen. I have said prior in many of these shows that, we don't have to have weapons to be intimidating. Our skin is a weapon. And so as soon as we show up when a cop is around, we already have a weapon, so to speak, which is our skin. So it gives them an automatic green light to shoot because they're saying that they're intimidated or they're scared or they thought that we had something. I'm thankful because it sounded as if you said the sheriff or the captain fired him.
Yeah, but that's the thing. He's fired. Why isn't he arrested? Like, I understand that they have to take a process, but he should be arrested because, one, You show up, you take off your body cameras. 2, you don't order him to come out and say, put your hands up, turn around. All you saw was a man that you felt, like you said, by the weaponizing of his skin color, he was a fair-skinned black man,
Right.
which he still appeared as a black man. Secondly, the unknown caller said that this parked car was turning on and off. That's it. You're sitting here, you're approaching something where it's on and off. And his partner said in her investigation report that Hill was non-threatening. So that alone is telling you your fellow officer is also saying he was non-threatening. The officers, we need reform, and they're scared.
Yeah.
They're scared, and they have a trigger that all you have to do is pull it. Now, this man was laying there dying, and you still kick him over. There was no guns shot at you. Like, I can understand if you had bullets coming and you're like now still like this. You're approaching this man who's on the ground, and you're saying, keep your effing hands out, and then you kick him over, and then he lays there because police officers are not EMTs. So you can't give him CPR. You can't try to save his life. He laid there for 5 minutes and later died at the hospital.
Yeah, and that video that you saw was pretty graphic. I actually cut it. It's about 9 minutes long. I actually cut it, but you heard some grunting and sounds. That was him laying down. This thing is just frustrating because,
47.
What can we do, right?
Yeah.
Which goes to my point, and I have been saying this for a long time. There is no reason that would trump, right? Listen to what I'm saying. There is no reason that would trump the police administration to hire someone within their own community.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand it. What reason would trump you from hiring that? I don't get it. Why would you not hire someone that would already live in a community that essentially would even know him?
Right.
Like, yo, man, what you doing? Like, this is a true story. This is a true story, right? In my days when I was a little rough, true story, in my days when I was a little rough, and I had some friends on Facebook that can attest to this. I had about maybe 10 SWAT, I think it was SWAT, a warrant unit, come to my house, banging on my door, kicking my door in and everything. It could have really got ugly. You know what happened? I actually knew one of them. And he said, yo, Day, just chill, relax. Don't worry about it, man. Just go sit down. Like, yo, everything good. We just going to come and talk to you, blah, blah, blah. Now, that could have really turned out ugly. I had police officers on my roof and everything. It was crazy, right? But the point that I'm making is that it was somebody that I knew.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if someone who was hired from the police force was from that community, they drove up to him in his own house. I believe that he owns the house.
Yeah, it was a family friend. He was dropping off Christmas money.
Okay. Well, Christmas friend, somebody who looked like me would have, I believe, because I don't know for sure, would have made a different choice. Mm-hmm. And it's frustrating because all this is presumptions, of course. But I know if it was me and I knew somebody and I was a police, I would have been like, yo, John, what you doing, dog? We here for, what did you do? What are you doing? Mm-hmm. Before I start shooting at it. And that's the beginning of what community policing is supposed to be.
Yeah. But it's also, and you hit the nail on the head. When people are taken to the hospital, people in the community that are nurses or doctors. Oh, that's Miss Johnson. Miss Johnson, how you doing? Oh, I remember. Oh, Miss Johnson suffers from diabetes. I think she was having a diabetic coma, whatever. But when you see and know people from the community that work in an essential position such as this, it does something different to the community. To your point, Charles, about like, you know, or even culturally. Had had that man saw him and said, what are you doing? And he would have talked or explained, all right, put your hands behind your head, get on your knees, something. All he did was come out and you see it with a cell phone.
And if you were that scared, you're taught to use something as your shield. So you could have just as easily pulled your car up and got behind your car and said, like, yo, put your hands up, I need to see. Because I want to make sure I'm protecting my life, right?
Absolutely.
So put your hands up. Let me see your hands. He didn't give any of those. Anyway.
And why was the camera off?
Yeah. After you shot, you turned it on.
And your fellow officer.
Yeah, that's wild, man. It should be something where your camera always runs.
It should never be able to turn off.
And it's easy to make an electronics that goes off once you leave your car. Leave your car, the camera turns on.
Yeah,
you don't need it in the car because you have, guess what? You have a car on your camera. I mean, a camera on your car already.
Right.
So as soon as you leave your car, it should automatically turn on, and it's easy to create tech like that.
Yeah, and I feel like this will be a stretch, but they should have somebody that like it's their job 24/7 to monitor those cameras in real time when stuff is going on.
That's
like,
right.
Why can't they do that like a surveillance? Like you know, you're watching what's going on.
Right. They do it in hospitals.
That's right.
Exactly.
I want to before we move on, again, I just want to preface the video. It was pretty hard to watch. There was some graphic language. So if you're watching this, I just want to make sure I give you that warning. And again, this is all factual stuff. We didn't create anything, so we showed it in real time as it was given. So take a look at this. So Shannon said, get rid of the qualified immunity for officers. Make their officers liable for shooting and deemed unlawful, unnecessary, or excessive, which is the force, right? Have all cops wear body cameras that must automatically, I just said this, that must automatically come on when they hit the sirens or get out the car. I just said this. Fantastic, brother. And prosecute them under the new statute that it would be mandatory arrest and detention till the investigation is over. I totally 100% agree with that. I just said it. Yep. Absolutely. Wow.
That was your good news and your bad news by Classy Lady Sparkle.
I done forgot what the good news was.
It was Biden's cabinet. All the women in Biden's cabinet.
Jeez Louise. I mean, this.
That's real. Now, can you see the difference of really giving that good news and that bad news?
Yeah, and I feel like, you know, with looking at the good news, just hoping that some of the laws and legislation will change because of, you know, more diverse people in those places to be able to make those changes happen. So
absolutely, Sizzle.
Yeah.
I guess Shannon was laughing at me. I forgot about the good news. You know, it's one of those things when something is just which is, listen, let me tell you about the irony. Let me tell you about the irony of that. Then this is basic media literacy. Just that example alone, I totally forgot about the good news. And with that, what do you think it's like being Black in America when everything you hear is negative? So the little things that we do good, or a lot that we do good that doesn't get covered, it looks as if we're not doing anything. Right. And so the perception of how we are here in America, you have no other reason but to be intimidated or nervous about us. All they show are killings, drug addicts, violent crimes, everything negative, or we the hip hop artists or entertainers, or basketball players.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's just unfortunate because the way that, you know, Eastern like ideals of westernized culture or Western culture, they believe the only thing that black people are either basketball players, rappers, or criminals, which is crazy, right? And that's because all they see is stuff like that. They hear the news, they see all the protests, they watching basketball sports, they're seeing stuff like that, or they're watching pop culture, which is hip hop, rap, and breakdancing and dancing and all that, right? Which is part of our culture, but that's all they see us as. They don't see the scientists, they don't see the doctors, they don't see the entrepreneurs, they don't see just the educator, the academic, they don't see people engaged in STEM. They don't hear that, you know, a sister already pretty much has the cure to cancer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? That they don't want to support. They don't hear the story that you gave with the 3 beautiful black babies whose IQ rivals Einstein.
Right.
Yeah, and that's why there needs to be more media outlets like us on larger platforms, and we're the ones who need to be telling our stories and telling them the way that they need to be told. Otherwise, mainstream media is going to tell our stories for us.
And it's also, go ahead. I'm sorry, Sizzle.
No, I was just going to say they're going to paint us in a different light, which is not completely true.
Agree. And I also think that when we see ourselves in, you know, certain movies and stuff, this is why we fight so hard for our roles, so that we can say, hey, that is what I could do. You know, when you see people that look like you and you can really relate. My kids were telling me, Mom, I just watched my granddaughter too was watching Soul. Jamie Foxx, new Disney Pixar. And they were like, the barbershop guy, like everybody in Pixar resembles somebody. It was like, he looked like Pop, you know, resembles somebody in our family. And for her to look and see this at 4 years old, to say, hey, I can relate to those people on the screen, that, you know, you didn't have that for every generation growing up. You know? So these positive images of us mean something in media sensationalism.
That's true.
Yeah, especially for the younger kids. That's what, you know, that just gives me hope that our future will be, well, our kids' future will be brighter, because them seeing things like this, they'll be motivated to kind of like either, you know, recreate or, you know, or invent something that's going to just, you know, kind of like I was having a conversation with my son. I'm like, you know, you should be motivating yourself to, you know, change your generation. And we have some young kids now that, you know, that's what they're going to be doing because of what they see in the media and movies and stuff like that. So I feel like it's an exciting time for our people of color.
Yeah. And I don't even want to be Debbie Downer on that movie, but you know, you have people, Erica said, and this is very important. Representation matters. Great input, Erica. And the thing is too, you know, they say, again, not being a Debbie Downer, but they say like, we can't even get a full black animated movie without them kind of whitewashing the characters. You know, we watch Frozen, we watch all these movies, animated movies where the leads and the white characters are white throughout the entire movie. But then we get a movie and they take us into character phase and we're not black. We're just kind of like a cartoon character, so to speak, which is a huge conversation that's happening right now. Maybe is it a reach? Maybe not. But again, when we talk about marginalized voices, that becomes Shannon said facts. When it comes to marginalized voices, you know, that's one of the things. I remember, I forgot the young lady who played the princess, the first black princess. She was a frog.
Yeah, what's her name? Her name? Noni Rose, something like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah, but
you know,
she was a frog like half the movie. I mean, it's like, come on. But I mean, again, maybe I'm reaching, maybe not. Just being, this is the other side. That's a conversation that's going on, which has some merit. And so, go ahead.
I just want to say that it's not that, the Western European way is like not saying that I don't enjoy some of those movies, but when you got the Wizard of Oz and you got the Wiz, I want to see the Wiz.
That's
you know
right.
what I mean? I mean, I just want to say, okay, y'all have yours. I have mine. I want to have that option that I can choose mine. Don't give me Cleopatra, and I know that she had bronze skin and hair like wool, and you're putting somebody else up that doesn't represent what that history is. You know,
exactly.
So I don't know. I just think that, don't saturate what we're doing with Western society when you have yours. Let me have mine and enjoy.
So go ahead, Sizzle.
Oh no, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say.
I'll hold my thought. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, how do we fix that? How do we prevent that? I mean, it's about us creating our own content, having our own platforms, being able to say, look, I don't care what nobody else says. We own this, so we could put our narrative in our faces and who we are out there, so everybody can see who we truly are, or at the very least, who we imagine ourselves to be.
Exactly.
The Bill Cosby's, when he was trying to buy CBS. It's when you own the network, you're the gatekeeper to say, this is what I want to show on our platform.
That's right.
It's hypnotizing. And it comes into millions of households. And they believe what they see and hear, no matter how, how fake the lie is.
Yeah, we need to continue to be the Issa Raes and the Ryan Cooglers and just creating our own content and creating our own platforms and amplifying our voices. It's time. It's time.
The John Singletons, absolutely.
Exactly. And then I was getting ready to say, what movie this season that was on this holiday season that was on Netflix that I really, really enjoyed? Like, it just blew my mind, this movie. It was Jingle Jangle.
Okay.
And that movie, it just like, I never imagined Black people in like musicals and stuff like that, like movies like that. And just to see it just blew my mind. And it was kind of like a flip-flop, because usually in white movies, we're the extras and we have all the minor roles and stuff like that. But it was flip-flop. It was like we had the leading major roles and they had the white people in there, but they didn't have main characters. They didn't have major roles. So I just thought it was amazing. The cast was awesome, very talented. And it just blew my mind, because if more Black people can see this and like see what we can do and just see what we're capable of, we need to just get out there and get started and just do the stuff. We just need to do it.
My sister, have you looked on, like when we're following people on Instagram, TikTok, do you see how creative our people are? Like the skits that they're doing and on with their phone. I mean, all of this, you got short films and stories and just skits that I'm like, we are magical and creative. And these platforms like social media has now allowed everybody to see that. Issa Rae started out on YouTube and they then brought it to HBO. But had she not had that platform to start, that locomotive and moving, we would have never been, blessed enough to know the Issa Rae creativity. So I think that we are rising. It's an incline, a slow one, but still an incline in itself.
Yeah, no doubt. I want to get to a couple of these comments, and kudos everybody. Make sure you like and share this video, and continue to comment. We'll bring your comment on, because again, we do this for you guys. We do this for the people. We do this because we're able to have our platform to give people a voice, to give marginalized communities the Black and brown communities who wouldn't necessarily have a platform like this to be able to tell their narrative. Because again, one thing that I always say, if you don't tell your narrative, someone else will tell it for you. So we rather tell a narrative, the true narrative, and get ahead of it without somebody capitalizing, monetizing our voices, our stories, which they constantly do. Kudos to Tina Marie. She said, "Good evening, everyone. NCP, CDC, RCO loves your platform, and we appreciate the fact that you are even watching and paying attention to us." Shannon said, love the film. He was talking about Jingle Jangle. He said it was really good. Erica said, "We also have to commit to supporting and uplifting each other," which is true, which is the reason why I have these sisters on. Is the reason why we continue to push and preach and teach, and the constant narrative of support, the constant narrative of we are kings and queens, the constant narrative of ownership. We can own our own shit, right? Hey, look, I'm trying my best to be politically correct, but sometimes it is what it is. This is ours. This is our platform, and we can do what we want to do. So if we want to have a black baby sitting here singing goo goo gaga, we will, because we can. And that's the point, because these are our people. Erica also said Jingle Jangle was phenomenal. Now that makes me want to watch it. And again, and I'm gonna lead this up real quick, because there's a lot of movies that's on. What's that? Matter of fact, I just forgot that movie. Canvas. That's another black animated movie. It's only 9 minutes. It's on Netflix. Go and watch it today.
Wow.
It's a black narrative. It's a really great animated film. It's only 9 minutes. You can take 9 minutes out your time and go watch it, because it was done, edited, created, written, everything by someone black. And so we have to continue to tell people and give them the information. If they don't know the information, how would they know, right? Tina Marie said, absolutely, these platforms are a means to stabilize our community. Absolutely right. And that's how we feel, because we already have an excess of false narrative. An excess, right? An excess, right? And we're up here. You see, this is the scale. We need to start doing this with the scales, so we can make them equal. But no, right? We all the way up here. We need to equal that out. And that's the problem. But that's what our platform is about, equalizing a narrative. I love how you put that, so we can stabilize our community, because our community is in disarray. We were pretty much at 500 murders and deaths in Philadelphia for 2020. And we have to really start having these conversations, and these real conversations and uncomfortable conversations. How can we fix that? How can we fix that without pointing fingers at people and just think about what is the solution? How can we do that? Black people are the hardest on each other than anybody else, right? But we're the most loving, right? So can we put that energy in? How do we support each other, right? Mm-hmm. And just real quick while I'm there, if you guys want to support We Talk Weekly, we would love to support. $1 will do, $2 will do, anything will do. $ at Cash App, We Talk Weekly, and we really appreciate it. Anything can count. But it takes stuff like that. As she said, we need you to support who we are, what we are, and platforms like this. And if you don't want to support We Talk Weekly, we're fine. Support some other black media outlet. Just support them. Donate. Give them anything, because they're the platforms that they don't have the machine behind them. We don't have the machines behind us. We're doing this. This is all blood and sweat equity. Blood, sweat, and tears. We did this. We do this. Everything that you see, we produce, create. We do this. We don't have a machine behind us. So we need people like you to continue to support, because that's how we continue to do what we do, right? And so with that said, that was good news or bad news, huh?
That was good news and bad news again by your girl, Classy Lady Sparkle.
Hey, what's up, you guys? It's your girl, Classy Lady Sparkle. And have you subscribed to our channel yet?
If the answer is no, you need to subscribe now.
Yeah, so stop what you're doing. Go right now and subscribe. We like you. You like us. So go ahead and subscribe.
Come on over. Be a part of the family of We Talk Weekly and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
So what are you waiting for? Subscribe
now.